Hey there guys, it's Joey and this is this week's Connecting with the Ogum, and this week's Ogum is Ioho or Yew, and I'm going to read some of the meanings of it out for you, and then we're going to go over the picture, the drawing, the way of connecting to the Ogum. So the bit on my Spirit of Old paper that came with them said, accepting the inevitable reincarnation, destiny, death and rebirth, new starts, contact with the past. And from Stephanie Woodfield's book, Divination Meanings, Death, Rebirth, A Time of Transitions, Reverse Grief, Inability to Accept Change, and some tree lore, which is really interesting for you. I didn't know half of this, it was, So, the yew is slow growing but extremely long lived. The Fortingall yew in Perthshire, Scotland, is estimated to be between 2,000 and 5,000 years old. The yew is generally associated with death. Its wood is strong and flexible and was used to make long bows, a particularly deadly weapon in medieval warfare, and both its seeds and leaves are poisonous. The Celtic chieftain Catuvolcus killed himself with poison made from yew rather than submit to Rome. The tree is also commonly planted in graveyards. As the tree ages, the trunk eventually becomes hollow. These hollow areas are seen as gateways or entrances to the other world. The yew branches grow into the soil, taking place of the old hollowed out trunk, symbol of reincarnation. I thought that was fascinating. Magical uses, transformation magic, honouring the ancestors, summoning spirits. So this is my Ogum right here. Beautiful. And this is the drawing, so we'll just go over it and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So death and rebirth and change and destiny is at the top. So we have the branches winding their way around the trunk, because I loved reading about that. I love all the imagery, I love the symbolism of that. I think it's fantastic. And we have a longbow down the bottom and a cauldron. And a cauldron down the bottom is for the rebirth aspect, for the crone, for that sort of thing. And we have the triskel in 3 of them, made another crone, along the stem of the main trunk, if you like, for that as well, because that's the cycles of life, the triple goddess, death, life, death and rebirth. And we have a couple of yew branches with some of the berries falling off, 3 again. And I quite liked how this looked a little bit like a rib cage, so I decided to go with that and add, and I think it came out alright. I was a bit worried I couldn't draw a skull, but a skull on top, and then that's a bit like the rib cage sort of thing. And then, as you can see, there is an ethereal door within the rib cage. The door handle is a spiral of life and things, and the door isn't quite there, so that's sort of symbolic of the other world. And black ribbons and things tying up the top, and they're a little bit frayed at the ends, and it's sort of connected to the skull. So it's that sort of black ribbons being a little bit connected with sort of the death aspect and life aspect, and brings into the sort of like the 3 fate imagery with the threads, things like that. And then we have a very interesting attempt at a phoenix on the side. It might be better if I was doing these in colour, but I was just trying to allow the sort of jaggedness of the lines to sort of symbolise the fire, and that to me is the rebirth element. So you have the death and the rebirth element very close together, all facing one direction. And I did it on this side on purpose, so it's the relationship isn't as clear cut. It's not just one bomb bomb, it's one following the other, one turning the back on the other, not knowing perhaps about rebirth, not seeing it, not thinking about it, because that's in its death bit, but it is there, right behind you, or right in front of you, depending on your perspective. See? Isn't that good? I like that, even if I do say so myself. So yeah, so that's the connecting with Ioho. Many blessings.